accounting and business advisory firm. So we provide services to startups, small business owners, and non-profit organizations. And those services will go in the areas of accounting, payroll, tax, business advisory to include business plans, strategic planning, and corporate secretarial services. We really guide towards helping the small business person achieve their goals.
Okay, so it's a start off. We're doing a start off. You can come from a start off point of view, run us through, and from an established point of view.
Yes, so we deal with startups. So if you are now looking and you have a business concept or idea in your head that you want to take from this general concept and build a business model, we have many times in Trinidad you see some company away. Let's take Google. Right, or in fact, let's say maybe Amazon. Right. And you see an Amazon shopping model and you said, you know what?
I could do that.
I could do that.
Yeah, I could do that.
So let's do it. I mean,
yeah, come on. I'm just
create a website.
I'm gonna call Mr. Oliver. I'm like, hey, I could do that.
Create a website, choose some products, and it will be successful.
Right.
The thing about it is that you're trying to imitate a business model, but you're not sure of why Amazon is successful. What in their business model makes it so great? And you find when people just try to mimic an idea, you're not necessarily successful because you don't know what are the key things that make the difference. So we work with persons to develop their concept, develop their business model, try to find some sustainable way to make money. Because if you only focus on, let's say, making a sale, right, as opposed to getting some sort of a long-term income guaranteed, which is why some businesses now are going that whole route of adding a monthly fee for service. Because, you know, when you have a sale, that's it. That's one sale. If its product is not something that you need to come and purchase again, well, that's it. Now you're fighting to get customers. You're fighting to try to figure out what is your cost to acquire a customer. If you don't have that unlimited amount of capital to invest in advertising, then you are now trying to get constant new clients coming in. Whereas if you have a model where you are charging persons a monthly fee, then you have these individuals and there's always some sort of income coming in. So we look at the business model, we try to advise you, and we go step by step. So whether you're a startup, whether you're an existing business, regardless of what, we would work with you.
Oh, okay. And for all those, I mean, for a lot of people, they don't usually have a plan. They don't have a plan and a business model. So do you get people that's coming with an idea and they have no idea how they want to start the idea? I have an idea. The idea is nobody does parachuting in Trinidad and Tobago, but I have no idea what's about. How do I do it? Do you get those a lot?
We, interestingly enough, yes. So
what? Seriously? Parachuting? Oh, okay. Because I thought that was my idea. All right.
But you know, that's the reality of it. We have persons that come to us and say, I have a fantastic idea, and they tell you,
yes,
I want money now, and they watch you and they tell you, well, how much money do you need? They tell you 3 million.
Yeah.
Watch them like,
that little bubble is right.
And they would usually come with us with the notion that here's what, we need a business plan because we're going to the bank to get money, and the bank is not very risk adverse in this country, so they're not going to just give you $3 million because you say you're going to do this great idea.
Right.
So they come to us and they say, you know what, all we need is a business plan, and yes, the bank is going to give us money. Right, and we usually go through a process to say, you know, this is what the bank is going to look at. The bank is going to look and see if you have collateral. The bank is going to look and see what's the financial feasibility of this. Are you going to be able to repay the loan? And most people come to us and we tell them the process in us doing a business plan, because us doing a business plan, what people have to understand, the true value of a business plan is not in the document itself, that formal maybe 15, 25, 30, 50 pages.
Right.
What it is the process you use to come up with that document, because in looking at the business planning process, you're not going to have to challenge yourself. You're going to have to do an analysis of the business, do an analysis of the industry, do an analysis of the market, look at who your competitors are, look at what differentiates your business from everyone else.
Right.
So I was having a conversation with someone today, and he told me, you know what, I want to go into business cosmetology. But the question is, what differentiates your business from everyone else who wakes up this morning and says, you know what, I'm going to do the same thing.
Right.
Right. So we look at that process, and the process is meant to look at what gray areas you may have in your thinking, and to find solutions and strategies. So we will put forward several strategies, and we'll identify goals,
Right.
and we'll look at what strategies and solutions you can now take to achieve your goals, as well as look at a financial model for the business and say this is what we forecast is going to happen. Many persons go business plan and say, yeah, first year you're going to make $1 million, next year $5 million, and the bank is going to now ask, but on what basis did you make these assumptions?
Right.
Because the bank has clients. The bank could watch and at any point in time know, well, a person with a small clothing store, this is how much they usually bring in sales to the year, and now you are looking at, I'm going to bring in $2 million in the first year.
Yeah.
So the assumptions must be realistic, and you must put in the business plan what the assumptions are. But more importantly, what we are focusing on recently is that we're currently in a tax amnesty.
Okay.
And we have several persons calling us each and every day asking for information about this tax thing.
What is the tax amnesty?
Basically, you know, sometimes as Trinidadians we're a little bit lackadaisical.
A little bit? You're being generous? A little bit?
I had to be generous.
Okay, good. Yes.
But what you find is individuals are required to file and pay income tax.
Right.
Once you earn an income, so for example, self-employed persons, small business owners, professionals with limited liability companies, they are required to pay taxes. And you find many times persons go and start a business and don't know what are all the legal compliance issues.
Oh.
So they just go and say, hey, I start a business, it sounds cool, right? But they don't know what they have to do to remain in check with the laws of Trinidad and Tobago. And many times, for what reason, many persons don't know they have to pay taxes.
Oh.
And we are in a scenario right now that the government is looking for money.
Right.
They're short.
Right.
You know, economic recession, all these great things they throw around. So the Minister of Finance is saying, here's what, we're giving you a chance here. We're giving you a tax amnesty, which is essentially means we're going to waive all penalties and fines on any taxes you may be owing the government. We just want the principal amount. We just want the money. We don't want the interest. We don't want the penalties. We're giving you an opportunity.
No late fees, none of that. Right.
Nothing. I know he has made a statement that he's looking at recouping some $500 million by doing this. And more importantly, that after this amnesty, which is going to be the third amnesty we've had in the last 5 years.
Wow.
And if you no more, we're coming after you. So if you're owing money, after September the 16th, the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago is not going to listen to sad stories. Not going to listen to nobody crying.
But I didn't know, and
no ignorance of the law is not a justification. Right. So this tax amnesty now is allowing persons the opportunity to now file and bring up to date and pay any income taxes that they may owe. Right. I want to get a notion out that I realize a lot of persons have called me in the last 2 weeks and asked and say, you know, I went and I registered a company. And in fact, I went and registered a sole trader. And I was told I do not need to pay income tax. Right?
Is this a method? Is this a...
Well, I don't know where the information coming, but we're breaking the law.
Well, that's what I know. I want to know if this is a calm story method, a calm story.
So, everyone is required, once making over a certain amount of money, to pay income tax. And I want to make a specific differentiation self-employed persons, small business owners, more particularly, they have to file an income tax return. It doesn't matter if you're making profits. It doesn't matter if you made a loss. It doesn't matter if you if you said, well, I don't have any taxes to pay. That's irrelevant, right? Because if you were to take the logic, right? Let's say I didn't do, I made $1 million in sales for the year, but I said I didn't do anything. How are you? What is there to put that on paper to say yes, you really didn't do anything? So you still have to file a tax return to say, here's what we didn't do anything. This is what happened, so that there's some sort of declaration there that says so. In the event that for some reason it's proved that you are lying, there's some documentation to go against that. So persons have to file an income tax return. If you're not doing an activity, you need to inform the Board of Inland Revenue that you're not doing any activity. We can't just take it at your word that we're not doing anything and just leave it there. You don't have to tell anyone. You need to inform them. So many persons get sort of confused about the whole process. What do you have to do? And I'll take it from persons who have a small business, maybe as a sole trader. Right. They have a couple of things to be interested in when looking at taxes. One, they are required to pay income tax. Now, they are allowed a personal allowance just as any other individual who's employed by an employer. So, for the year 2015, personal allowance was $60,000. In 2016, it has increased to $72,000. Right. So what that means is, for the year 2016, a small business owner will pay taxes on profits that he's made over $72,000. Every dollar profit he makes over $72,000, he'll be required to pay taxes. Well, income tax, that is. You are also allowed certain deductions, right? So, for example, we had a financial advisor here in the first segment, and one of the deductions you're allowed is a deduction for a proven annuity. And you can go up to $50,000. You can get a deduction up to $50,000, provided that you have a proven annuity with one of the insurance companies or one of the banks. So what you find is that these income taxes is on profit. So that means profit is defined your income minus your expenses. Right. And expenses has to be defined here. It's allowable expenses because I may have a business, but I spend money on a lot of personal
allowances, expenses, yes.
So I had a client and she brought me these long list of expenses. I'm going through the expenses, saying wonderful work.
Hello. Hey.
And I'm thinking, that have your business.
What business? Hello. No. Perfume and hello.
But as we laugh about it, it is something
very serious.
Very serious, because people will think, whatever money I spend, that is an expense. Right. But it's not so.
All right.
You're looking at, and in fact, the law is whatever is wholly and exclusively incurred in the production of income. So it has to be related to the business. Right. So there must be no questions or gray areas. It has to be related to the business.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to take a short commercial break. But before we do that, I'm going to leave you, Mr. Oliver, with a question that I know everybody's listening and they're like, oh my goodness. For all those that have those smaller food stalls, burgers, gyros, doubles, how do they pay taxes? And for all those that are talent-based oriented types of jobs like singers, all these people that you may have a nice successful month, but the next 2 months there's nothing. How do you calculate those taxes? All right, when we come back, and of course also want to know about cash flow, burn rate, and break even, what those terms mean. This is Building a Legacy right here on 103 FM.